Hi everyone, I'm Viraj, partner at Arka. Today we have with us Jeff Wang, CEO at Windsurf, and my classmate from Berkeley. Hi Jeff, welcome to Arka's annual showcase, and thank you for joining us for the keynote. Let us kick it off with a brief introduction. Maybe if you can tell us more about your journey so far.
Yeah, hi everyone. First of all, thank you for having me speak here. I'm very honored to be able to tell a story to more people. But I was part of the founding team at Windsurf, first business hire,
Mhm.
doing things like finance, accounting, marketing, sales, partnerships, basically anything that needed to be done that was non-engineering. And it was very crazy seeing the journey from pre-revenue on the AI coding product to getting the first customers, to trying to scale a sales team, to building a very large partnerships and recruiting team as well, to get us to Windsurf, which was the first agentic IDE on the market. And then, of course, navigating through a lot of challenges to getting us acquired by Cognition. And now we're, I think, stronger than ever, having both a remote agent and a local agent and handling very different AI coding kind of use cases between different companies and customers. So again, at a high level, I'm part of Devin and Windsurf combined and under Cognition and seeing how we can grow from here.
Amazing. You have such a diverse experience at this single organization, right from being a founding member to what you're doing today. So, what keeps you awake and what excites you? Like, if we think of it from your current role and also from your past roles.
Yeah, I mean, what keeps me awake is this is the most competitive space in the most competitive space, right? AI right now, of course, is what everybody is trying to do, and AI coding in particular is where I think a lot of the smartest people in the space are focused on. And that means that we need to go fast. It means that we cannot have bad execution. Like a lot of founders might try a lot of different things and it doesn't work. But for a company in a very competitive space, you can't make too many mistakes. You need to roll out products that people will actually use and get value from. And that is what kind of keeps me up at night, is to move fast in a very competitive space while not making too many mistakes. What excites me though is that AI is still kind of in the beginning. Believe it or not, I feel you're still seeing a lot of AI advancements in different types of models, different use cases. For example, browser use is getting very good, computer use is getting very good, and there's not very many applications out there that are taking advantage of those capabilities. And of course, looking forward when there are world models and the use cases for robotics, I think, again, we are very early in the AI space. It is unbelievable because it is still moving fast, and a lot of these tools are well adopted now, but are not taking full advantage of all the capabilities these models have.
Got it. And yeah, it completely resonates with what we are also seeing. So, if we think of the AI landscape in general and the impact of AI on the software industry, what we find is vibe coding, agentic coding, or AI assisted coding are clearly the winners. Let's take an example of India alone, right, which has more than 5 million software engineers who are now not just learning Java, Python, C++, but also learning to use AI tools like Windsurf, Replit, and others. We are definitely seeing a lot of adoption for Windsurf, Cursor with both enterprises and startups, while tools like Lovable and even Replit, for that matter, are mainly popular with individual developers and startups. Being the CEO at one of the most popular agentic coding solutions, how do you see the agentic coding landscape today?
I mean, it is getting very crowded, I will say. And the underlying models are getting so good that even a wrapper on top of some of these models is valuable already. So how I see it is that, again, we need to differentiate ourselves from a crowded space. We need to provide more value than, any of these other startups that are getting a lot of funding as well. And it means that we have to choose new surface areas for
Mhm.
developers to work on. We have to insert agents where there's a lot of value to be had, and it currently doesn't do that today, right? There's things like down the software development lifecycle where things could get stuck or broken, and you would hope there's an agent there, but it's not there yet, right? And that's kind of the things that I'm kind of focusing on is we you know that we already know the models are good. We know it has a lot of value to AI coding, but downstream and upstream. So if when you're planning a project, when you're assigning agents work, when you're figuring out what's broken and needs to be fixed, or what you want to create, these are all things that AI startups and AI products don't really have yet. To believe it or not, right? Again, there's so much value that can be had in the whole life cycle that there's so much opportunity for startups like the ones in this room to go after. And again, you guys don't have to go after the coding space. There's other use cases out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we come back to Windsurf in general and even Devin, right? How do you see your customers defining and also observing their ROI? How is it changing? How is it evolving?
Yeah, this is actually evolving as time progresses. For example, we used to show how much percent code was written by the AI, and it started around like 40 to 50%, which is pretty amazing to say half of your code is written by AI.
Mhm.
Right now, over 90% of all code is being written by AI, which is insane, and it means it's not a very valuable metric to measure the productivity by. So a lot of companies now are measuring it in a couple ways. One is by the amount of kind of PRs that are made by AI, the PR cycle time, pull requests, and this means like how much output that the team is doing based off of like code reviews and code outcomes, I should say. The other thing is a multiplier on kind of the human capability. So if, for example, you roll out Devin to an organization, you
Mhm.
have any number of tickets or things that you can assign to an agent, you can actually say like, hey, with Devin, you're getting about 10x the number of tickets done. So for every engineer, you're getting 10x the output, which is, again, a very crazy number to think about. So now you have 90% or more code written by AI. You have 10x the output of the tickets that you originally had. And ultimately, what CIOs, CEOs are looking for is either cost saving or output. So are we generating more revenue because our product is getting out faster, or are we saving money because again, we're not hiring as fast? And again, this second part is kind of the controversial part is what kind of culture is this enterprise? Is it the kind that's trying to save money, or is it the one that's trying to stay ahead of competition and move faster? And I can tell you, startups are definitely in the camp of moving faster. Startups kind of are required to use these AI tools, or they're not going to be able to compete with each other.
Yeah, no, that completely makes sense. So, I mean, you've mentioned startups right now, and we all know they have very limited resources. So, how should startups go about integrating agentic capabilities day zero so that they can get the most out of it?
I would look at what are the things that are blocking you and what are the things that need to move faster and can be unblocked with AI. There's an AI app for everything now. And if you look at the whole stack of a startup, whether it is the engineering or the marketing or the sales, there are a ton of different agentic capabilities for all those use cases. The problem is a lot of them are less than a year old. All these companies that are popping up, even Windsurf, by the way, is only a year old. The agentic IDE, right? So it is hard to understand like what is the best in breed and what's the best product out there. But there are products out there to help every single use case in the stack when you're starting a company. And I would encourage everyone to look at where you need to go faster, look at where you're blocked, and try out these applications for different use cases. Obviously, like with the AI coding, very well established that there's value, and you can't go wrong. Obviously, I hope you guys choose Windsurf, but there are a ton of AI coding apps out there that will definitely accelerate the engineering part at least.
Got it. Switching gears now, you have always been a strong proponent of a customer first rather than a technology first approach. Can you elaborate on that a bit further?
Yeah, right now time is kind of the most scarce resource. Like I said, it's a very competitive space. Everyone's going after AI. Everyone's building AI applications and use cases. That means you cannot build something that nobody uses, right? So being customer first really means that you're identifying the problems that customers need to solve and then building the products that are necessary for that. I would actually encourage you to kind of think about the problem you're solving first rather than what technology is available, right? So think about the problem, then use the available technologies to build towards it. In order to stay ahead of the competition, you might need to build something that the technology is not even capable of yet. That means building something that you assume AI will get better at, and by the time your application comes out or your product comes out, that it'll be ready for the prime time, right? This is like again very hard to visualize when you don't know what the technology is available.
Got it. Um, like you've touched upon it very briefly in the beginning of our conversation, but what advice would you give founders who are building in the enterprise AI space? And with that, also my last question around what are some of the opportunities that you see founders should focus on when they are building in this space?
Right. So one thing I always challenge founders and even VCs is if you took out the words AI from your pitch,
Mm-hmm.
take out the word agents, take out the word AI, what is it that you are actually selling? What is the product you're trying to build? What is a problem you're trying to solve? Because when you go to a customer, when you're trying to get your first revenue, that is actually what it matters, is what is the problem you're solving? What is the value that the customer will get from it? And again, this is coming from being customer first, but
Mm-hmm.
think about the problem you're solving rather than saying that I'm using AI for this use case. Because if you use AI for this use case, nobody cares, right? They're just gonna say that's great, it must be fun, but is it really gonna save me money? Is it gonna help me get more revenue? I think that is the thing you need to focus on when you're thinking about building a company around this technology.
Right. So double clicking on this, do you believe that vertical AI solutions or horizontal or maybe something to do with infra, security, reliability of AI is the way to go? Like out of these areas, which one is the most important one?
For startups, you got to go vertical for your first customers, right? Because you need to solve a very specific use case because there are a lot of broad solutions out there already, right? And if you try to go sell a customer a broad solution, they're probably going to go for a more established player. If you go to a customer with a very specific problem that you're solving and you do it better than anybody else, they will purchase you. And then from there, you can start tackling the more broader use cases. I would again say across all those verticals you've mentioned, though, look for the ones that have the biggest problems, look for the ones that you can save the most money, and look for the ones that will be it'll be a no-brainer to buy your product, right? That's what you got to look for.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you, Jeff, for spending time with us and really appreciate your valuable insights. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for having me.